Hello again. Welcome back to Wrestling with Power. Mosley here.
Lake Vic here.
And we are both here on this day in October the 2nd. This Thursday, October the 2nd. It's officially Halloween month, Slick Vic. Are you feeling spooky?
Happy October, Mosley. And yes, I'm feeling very spooky today. I'm, getting the Halloween decorations around the house, getting the decorations inside the house as well. So yeah, you can say that it's spooky season inside and outside.
I've been pretty excited. I've had my decorations, my outside decorations, with the exception of the inflatables, because I don't know if I'm going to deal with those this year. They're kind of hard to deal with. But I have my lights up outside. I have my animatronics inside going. So we're ready to go here, I think, as far as that's concerned. And over the weekend, one of my kids, Liam, he had his birthday party, and he said, I want to have a spooky birthday party. I want to have a scary birthday party. So we ordered him, all these happy birthday things. It had like Pennywise on it and Michael Myers and Jason, and we had all kinds of spooky stuff. And then that combined with the Halloween decorations that we already have made it look really cool.
Happy birthday, Liam.
Yeah, I might have had a few libations that day as well. Maybe a few too many. But it was fun. Partied it up. Speaking of Halloween and October and spookiness, why don't we go ahead and take a look at what Vic's gimmick is this week? I can see it, and you could see it too if you're watching live on, well, not live, if you're watching on YouTube. What do you got there, Vic?
This is Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th series. Well, he was actually, no, he's in the first one. He's not the killer in the first one, spoiler alert. But yeah, Jason in all his machete glory here.
That.
Are you a fan of the Friday the 13th series, Mosley?
Oh, I am. I am. Big fan, big fan. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit. But yes, I'm a big fan. I loved it when I was a kid. When we were all kids and we shouldn't have been watching it, but we were anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Did you have a hockey mask?
Oh, I had many. I had the cheap ass dollar store ones, and I had the glow in the dark ones that were a little bit better. I went as It was so easy because for Halloween you could go as Jason just by buying a $1 hockey mask from the dollar store, and
pretty much. Yep.
That's all you needed.
I had the same cheapo mask. I had the glow in the dark mask. I think I even had like a metallic looking mask that wasn't really metallic. It was just like silver. And then a couple of years ago, I put some effort into a Jason costume, and I bought a fairly decent mask. It looked like it was weathered and stuff, so it was a pretty good one.
So you went as Jason then?
Yeah. But this is like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago now. I was Jason for Halloween.
I'm thinking about doing that this year. I'm thinking about going as Jason because they came out with a sweet NES color theme Jason costume.
Yeah. Man, I never beat that game.
I did. It's very hard. And it's very confusing.
Yeah.
But what a classic. Mossy's actually gave me a copy of that game one year.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
I told him how much I liked it. He had a couple extra copies, and he's like, yeah, here you go. That's sweet. So I have it on the NES.
I'm pretty sure the box art is from Friday the 13th, Part 7.
The box art is from Part 4.
Okay.
It's the mask with the knife through the eye hole?
No, like Jason's basically like holding up like an axe or something.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of the intro screen.
Oh, yeah.
The intro screen, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That is from Part 7, yeah. Good call, Vic.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit more about Friday the 13th here in a little bit, I feel like.
Any spooky wrestling you want to talk about this week?
Yeah, we'll talk about some spooky wrestling. There were some spooky things that went on. Why don't we go over some news here, Slick Vic? In the past week, there's been some happenings. I think it was 2 weeks ago we talked about Andrade had left the WWE. He had, under mysterious circumstances, just parted ways. They said it was something to do with like a disciplinary situation, and I know he had posted a picture of himself like with a glass of some kind of beverage and a cigar and a note that said thank you. And I don't know, it was very mysterious. I never really understood what was going on. I never found out what was going on. Did you ever find out what that might have been going on there?
I've just heard some rumor and innuendo, whether or not any of this is true or just fake news. I've heard anywhere from disciplinary actions to him not learning English to just him being difficult to deal with backstage. Don't know which is true. Don't know what's to believe.
Yeah, I didn't really get a count on how long he was actually in the WWE this time, but it wasn't very long because he originally was in WWE, obviously everybody knows, and then he left and went to AEW, and he did basically nothing there, and then he came back to WWE, and then he was gone. He was basically let go or fired, but then he pops up again just the other day back in AEW again. So, how exciting is that? Good for AEW to get Andrade back.
Yeah. I mean, this is like just jumping ship back and forth. This is almost like the Monday Night Wars.
Well, I know you'll miss him terribly.
Sure.
But hopefully, I don't know, hopefully he gets whatever he's after over there. I don't know if we'll ever see him again in WWE at this point. It's pretty questionable, but anyway, that's where he is. Andrade's back in AEW, the first wrestler ever to go from WWE to AEW, back to WWE, then back to AEW. So, honestly, I thought that he would end up going to AAA. I thought they were pulling him off the main roster to put him in AAA. That would have been a great idea, I think. But, he doesn't have to know English down there.
I don't know. I don't know if there's any complications. I don't know if he worked for CMLL in Mexico instead.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know.
A lot of I don't knows.
Lex.
You tell him, Lex. What else you got on the news front there, Slick Vic? You got anything?
Well, we just briefly touched upon the gimmick on the table because Braun Strowman is apparently in talks to play Jason Voorhees. How do you feel about that? We've had numerous actors / stuntmen play Jason. What do you think of old Braun Strowman? The monster of all monsters, the monster among men.
I've never thought of Jason as being a big... I mean, I've thought of him as being maybe a tall figure, like a tall, individual. Kane Hodder, one of the most famous Jasons, because he played him so many times, wasn't really a big guy. He was kind of muscular, but he wasn't very tall. He was like
he was imposing. We'll give him that. 6'2", I believe, was the height.
6'2". Well, that's pretty good. But I mean, that's not a giant. That's not like you don't see him and think, oh my God. I know the guy that played Jason in Freddy vs. Jason was pretty tall. And what was it? Was that Derek Mears, or was Derek Mears in the remake?
Derek Mears was in the remake. In Freddy vs. Jason, it was Ken Kersinger.
Yeah, well, Derek Mears was a big guy. He was a big, tall guy, right?
Yeah, 6'5", I believe, as was Ken.
Yeah. Well, I said all that to say this. None of them are a friggin' monster like Braun Strowman, so it's kind of hard to imagine him playing Jason because he's so friggin' big. That would be a monstrous Jason.
That would be. Yeah.
So,
I mean,
totally. I'm here for it. I mean, if he gets the role, and I think, he would do good in it, sure. And it'd be interesting to see him play Jason. But, man, that would be a massive, massive Jason. I don't know. I can't visualize it in my head, but sure, that'd be awesome. I'm here
Yeah.
for it.
And other news, and this is also cinema news, we have Drew McIntyre joining the cast of Highlander alongside Henry Cavill, Russell Crowe, and even another WWE alumni. We got Dave Bautista in that movie as well. So, Henry Cavill in Highlander. We actually got an actual Scotsman now, a part of the cast. Have you seen any previous Highlander movies or the TV show?
I've watched, like I say, my mind is kind of weird when it comes to my childhood. I remember Raiden playing the Highlander guy, but I also remembered watching the show. And I know, like, he was in the movie and the show guy was a different guy, but I do remember the show because he was cutting somebody's head off every episode. I remember it.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing that when I was a kid. It was one of those shows in the 90s when I was too young to really pay attention to anything, that and like Xena Warrior Princess and La Femme Nikita,
Hercules. I remember those days. Those were good times. We're showing our age here, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, we grew up on that kind of shit.
Maybe even a little MacGyver.
Okay,
maybe.
I remember MacGyver.
I might have been going back a little too far, but yeah, I do remember it. I can't say.
Also, quick note I was going to say was, there was a Highlander movie. It's the fourth Highlander movie. It's called Endgame. That actually has both Raiden and the actor from the TV show in the movies together, and it also features a very young Edge. Adam Copeland is in that movie as well.
Ooh. Do the Highlander guys, the main guys, they don't, so one of them has to be playing a different character, right?
I believe they're playing the same. They're playing their respective characters. That didn't. The Raiden was playing the same same character he was in the previous movies, and the guy on the TV show was playing his character. It's almost like a crossover type thing.
Because I thought there could be only one.
I know. I don't know how it ends because I haven't seen it. So, maybe they shake hands and just call it a day at the end.
Yeah.
But every time I see another Victor or a Vic, I tell them, hey, there can be only one.
There you go. Well, I have a young infant in there named Victor, so hopefully you never meet him. In other news, AJ Styles made an announcement here recently, and he is apparently set to retire next year. Next year is going to be the AJ Styles retirement tour, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. It probably won't be as luxurious as John Cena's, but yeah, he says that 2026 is going to be his last. What do you think about that, Vic?
Well, I did not see a lot of AJ in TNA. I did not grow up a massive TNA fan. I've seen some matches here and there. I popped in occasionally, but when he came to WWE, I was immediately invested. I thought he was great. I was watching his matches and thinking, this guy really is great. This guy's not just all hype. He's putting on excellent matches with his first feud was with Jericho. Then he moved on to Roman Reigns, and then he had an excellent match with John Cena at SummerSlam, and then another excellent match with him at the Royal Rumble the following year. And since then, he's just been doing great work. I mean, he's also the guy who's got Undertaker's last match in that Boneyard match, which was memed to death. I love it. But yeah, I will miss the Phenomenal One if 2026 is indeed his last year. So, yeah, and also, are we gonna? I guess we should just go. I guess we can also mention that he's going to be facing John Cena in 2 weeks at the Crown Jewel.
Yes.
So, one last time.
Which, according to AJ, the fans made that happen. Yeah, according to AJ. I'm not sure how this works, Vic. I mean, there's a lot of things that... How could they not have had that planned? Or how could they... What did they have planned? Because obviously they were going to have John Cena there. Who was he going to face if he didn't face AJ Styles? Just like... What was going to be the story right now if Naomi hadn't got pregnant, for example, and the women's world title wasn't in the shape that... there's a lot of things that they have planned out for so long, and then, somebody throws a wrench into it or something happens and they have to flip. But I do wonder that, like, who would John have faced at Crown Jewel?
Good question. Good question.
I don't know, but he gets to beat up John Cena again, and he's excited about that. But yeah, AJ Styles, one of the greats, will go down as one of the greats, often compared to Shawn Michaels. I don't think he's got nearly the charisma of Shawn Michaels, but definitely as far as in-ring work, AJ Styles can work with anybody, and any match that he ever has is just, it's just good to watch. It's good time.
Yeah. Were you watching TNA back in the day?
Sparingly. I wasn't watching like full episode. Maybe once in a while I would watch a full episode. But I was catching highlights more than anything. So I knew about him when he came to WWE. I knew that he had been to Japan before that. I had been keeping tabs.
Okay.
So yeah, I knew we were getting something big when he debuted at the Rumble. Last but not least, as far as recent news, there's been a lot of recent news here lately, Vic. And this is sort of going over the forbidden door, if you will. Ash by Elegance, formerly known as Dana Brooke. Do you remember Dana Brooke in WWE? Boy, oh boy, what a bodacious one she was. She's been wrestling in TNA, and she was recently, the TNA Knockouts champion. She had to relinquish the title due to unknown circumstances. She just came out and pretty much said, I'm unable to compete. I don't know if it's came out since then. This has been a few days ago. But what's going on with her, but hopefully it's not terrible. But she made it seem like this is like a retirement, like she's done. She can never compete again. So, it doesn't sound good. But you know what? I always liked Dana Brooke. I will say that. When she was in WWE, I know that she probably didn't do anything that was very notable or very memorable, but I always saw her as somebody that I was like, man, I wish they would push her. Like, I wish they would give her the title, give her a chance. And honestly, I didn't know what she was doing lately. And then this news broke that she was the TNA Knockouts champion and she had to relinquish the title. And wouldn't you know it, Slick Vic, Kalani Jordan won the vacated title, an NXT superstar, won their Knockouts championship. So another TNA title goes over to the NXT brand.
I didn't hate Dana Brooke, but I was not the biggest fan. There was a lot of really good women at the time there was a lot of good stuff going on. I remember her in the 24/7 championship skirmish things they would do every week.
Yeah.
Didn't she win that belt a dozen times?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. That's the last I remember of Dana Brooke, because it was probably not that long after where she jumped ship to TNA.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, has reinvented herself and has done a really good job as Ash by Elegance.
Yep.
I have not kept up with that, so I can't speak on it. But good for her. But if she has to relinquish and hang up the boots, sad to hear it.
Yeah, I'm just curious to know what's going on with her, and hopefully, if she can't compete, hopefully she, lands a job doing something, helping the girls, doing something. But yeah, I was particularly a fan of hers back in the day. I just remember just being a big fan of hers out of everybody. I thought she's really good. But yeah, condolences to whatever's going on there, and maybe we'll find out in the coming days. That's all for news right now, Slick Vic. Shall we segue a little bit onto some weekly reviews?
All right, SmackDown, September 26th, 2025 in Orlando, Florida. The show starts with Paul Heyman. He says he's only got 2 hours, and he says, what do you want to talk about? Crowd chants OTC, and Heyman said he would love to talk about Roman Reigns, but Bronson Reed took him out. Says Braun Breaker will headline the next 5 to 10 WrestleManias. But we're going to talk about Brock Lesnar. But before he can say anything about Brock, Cody interrupts. Cody puts over Heyman, says he's one of the smartest men he knows. He calls him Mr. Heyman. Cody wants to talk about Lesnar, and he says Heyman is one of the smartest men he knows. Cody calls him Mr. Heyman, and he wants to talk about Brock Lesnar. And he says, does this face, Lesnar meaning, look like a one-off thing? And he asks if he is talking to an advocate. Heyman says he's talking to the GOAT. Great line, by the way. When Lesnar is here, everyone's in danger. But then the Bronze come out. Heyman says, what makes you think you're not in danger right now? And then Cody puts over the Bronze, especially Braun Breaker, and then takes off his jacket and Cody's ready to fight. The Bronze get the advantage. Then Randy comes out for the save. Randy Orton's music hits, and he comes out for the save. And I was going to say good promo, as expected, considering the talent involved. I did get a chuckle. I don't know about you, but I got a chuckle when Cody took off his jacket and started jaw-jacking. It came off like, you ever watch The Office? It came off like Michael Scott from The Office. He's just kind of like take his jacket off. And he's like, all right, you guys want to fight? Well, we're going to fight. So, yeah, I couldn't help but chuckle when that happened. Any thoughts on the opening segment of SmackDown, Mr. Mosley?
I thought this segment went exceedingly long. I thought that it, and we touch on the discussion of Brock Lesnar and the whole question about who Heyman is loyal to, but we never really get a definitive answer. I thought whenever Cody came out that they were just going to kill it, like, oh, Heyman's everybody wants to know what Brock Lesnar is going to do, and then Cody's music hits, and I thought, oh, well, we're not going to. Then Cody came out, and he's like, I want to know what Brock Lesnar is going to do. And then they just never really continue on with what's next for the Beast. Randy comes to save the day. Braun show up, get the better of Cody. So obviously we're getting this as a tag match later. And I don't think we did. But I put in my notes, obviously we're getting this as a tag match later. So I don't know, maybe at some point.
Spoiler alert, I think it's announced for next week.
Okay, there we go. Called it.
Okay. So backstage, the Street Profits say that there is no tension. They are hungry and they got each other's backs and they want the smoke. And then we got the match. We have the Street Profits versus Mello Don't Miz. Now, my notes are rather light on this one. I don't have much to say about this. I thought this was just standard fare. Nothing great, nothing bad, but nothing really worth getting into, except maybe the ending. The Profits had a combination spinebuster type move, and which I believe Cole called the up and down. And Tez hit a frog splash, which they called From the Heavens. And Mello doesn't break up the fall. Carmelo just lets Miz get pinned when he could have easily swooped in and broke up the pinfall. I'm sure the Miz will be big mad about it next week. And the match and then the Wyatts teleport onto the announce table and stare the Profits down. Like I said, mostly a nothing match, but it advances the story with the Miz and Carmelo Hayes. And the Profits are next in line for the tag titles. Any insight to this one?
Yeah, man. I mean, I was really enjoying Mello Don't Miz in this match. I thought they were doing really great together. But judging by that ending, it seems like the writing could be on the wall for the parting of ways. I don't think that they're going to be in it for the long haul, because this was the number one contenders match for a championship, and he just let him eat the pin. All because they want to get the pin over the other guy. They keep doing this thing every week. So I don't know. I actually think they do really good together. But it seems like they're not going to be in it for the long haul, unfortunately. But you know, I felt like the outcome was expected, sort of, because the Wyatts' interactions with the Street Profits over the last several weeks, they've been constantly involved with them. So obviously they are already going that way with it. It was kind of, you knew something was going to happen that way. So
you're right. Bo Dallas really has been mingling with the Street Profits, sort of stirring the pot, so to speak, stirring the cauldron, because it's in October.
Exactly.
Anywho, so backstage we have Jade Cargill saying she's tired of these women, so it's going to feel good when she becomes the WWE Women's Champion. Stephanie Vaquer from Raw manages to teleport in and show up and say, hey, and I don't remember what she says, but they have a face-off. She says like 2 words, like saying, I'm ready for you or something. And then we have a match. Now we have Julia and Kiana James versus Michin and B-Fab. There's no stakes here. B-Fab hits a sliding clothesline onto Kiana. Michin comes in, hits a clothesline. Julia comes in, throws Michin around with her hair. Michin hits a running Hurricane Rana. B-Fab hits a weak-looking jumping clothesline outside. Julia sidesteps a baseball slide from Michin, then poses for a few seconds before throwing Michin, which I thought was a little weird. She just like, baseball slide, you missed, and she's like, and then throws Michin. Like Michin's just standing there, like waiting for the throw.
Yeah.
Anyways, but then Cole tells Booker he should have caught her, and Michin pops up and hits a really hard-hitting dropkick off the announce table onto Julia. And then there's more awkwardness when B-Fab swings at Julia, who's on the apron. Julia ducks and then takes her sweet-ass time getting back into position and taunting while B-Fab just stands there until Julia hits her back. And then finally, Michin gets a hot tag, hits some offense, but then Julia comes back with a running knee and the arrivederci for the pin. I kind of feel that this match is the same thing as I do with the previous tag team match. They just kind of buy the numbers. There was some little more hard hitting action, I guess you can say here. But I think Julia and Michin look good. They stood out definitely more than their partners. But overall, not too impressed with the match, and there's no heat. So, I didn't have a lot to. I wasn't too invested, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So, what about you? I know you're a big Julia fan. So
yeah, I am.
Let me hear you.
Well, I think both teams did great, but Julia really shined in this match, at least for me. I noted the missile drop kick from the announce table by Michin to Julia, which was insane because Michin took a mean bump on the floor doing that. I think she got the worst of that exchange. I also noted that B-Fab hit a shitty sidekick and fell on her ass. And that was it. That's all.
Did you enjoy the match?
It was a run-of-the-mill. I know I like that phrase. It was a run-of-the-mill match. Yeah, but like I say, I'm a big Julia fan. I'm not a big B-Fab fan. Michin, yeah, sure. Michin's partner. Well, Michin's partner, B-Fab. Kiana James, Julia's partner. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I just felt it like I said the previous match, it's kind of standard fare.
Yeah.
Nothing to write home about.
Yeah.
Anywho, backstage, we got Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, who are immediately interrupted by Sol Ruka and Zaria from NXT. Zaria calls them Shalexa and says Zaruka deserves a title shot. Charlotte says, I can't wave my hand anymore and get a title shot, and you have to get in line, which Zaria says she finds hilarious, coming from Charlotte. And then Bliss backs up Charlotte and says, get in line. Hooray. We have a video package next, which hypes up Crown Jewel, and I don't know if you caught this. Did you watch this video package where they were hyping up the main events for Crown Jewel? Because they clearly spoil the main event in this hype package.
Really? No, I didn't catch it.
Yeah. Because they're basically saying they're really showcasing Cody and Seth for their title, for their Crown Jewel ring, championship, whatever it is. And then they're really showcasing Stephanie, who we know is in it, and Tiffany Stratton.
Okay.
So it wasn't like like who's gonna face Stephanie. No, it was showing side by side Seth and Cody, and then side by side, what's it called, Stephanie and Tiffany.
Yeah.
I'm like, you just spoiled the main event ending, didn't you?
Yeah.
We'll get to that main event. There's a lot to talk about that main event.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, so we have Drew McIntyre in for a promo. He's wearing a walking boot. He goes over his over his accomplishments in this building. He says he was close to beating Super Cody when he should have claymored Cody's head through the announce table, which I thought was funny. He used the word Super Cody. But he blames the ref, but then he forgives him. Then he blames Cody and says Cody has all the power. And then he quotes Spider-Man. More specifically, he quotes Uncle Ben when he says, with great power comes great responsibility. And then Nick Aldis comes out and tells Drew to get over the fact that he lost. And he questions the boot because it didn't come from WWE Medical. And Drew says it came from his own medical team. I wonder who they are. But then Nick says whatever and just leaves. He just like F's off. But then, so in a very surprising turn of events, out comes Jacob Fatu. Where the hell has he been? Jacob tells Drew to shut his ass up. They rip the mic from each other's hands while they're talking trash to each other. And they have a brief scuffle. And Jacob hits Drew with his boot. And that's the end of that. Any thoughts on the NXT women showing up, the Crown Jewel video package, and Drew McIntyre's promo?
Well, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit to the Drew McIntyre promo because that's what I really picked up on, and I thought Drew had some good points. Talking about how the ref was stopping him from kicking Cody's head in. He's like, why? Is that a DQ? He's like, if I throw him into the steps, is that a DQ? He had some good points. And I did think that it was great seeing Jacob Fatu back. I don't know where he's been either, but I'm glad he's back.
I like what you said about Drew because I always said that great heels are always justified in their complaining.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's good stuff there. Yeah. All right. So backstage, Stephanie Vicaire and Tiffany have a brief exchange. They just, exchange like 3 words each. Anyways. Then we have Sami Zayn and Rey Fenix. They put each other over. They're just patting each other on the back. And, Rey Fenix tells him, hey, good luck in your next match. And Sami goes out for his next open challenge. But first, we have a Solo Sikoa package where he talks highly of your boy, JC Mateo. JC Mateo says he loves Solo. What about you, Mr. Mosley? Do you love JC Mateo?
Absolutely not. And I was bummed out by this video package because last week Solo had a video package where he was talking about Tongaloa, right?
Yes. And
he was like, you're the only family member who hasn't deserted me. And I'm like, well, I don't know where Taller went, and I don't know where Stonehead JC Mateo went, but who cares? Maybe they shipped him off to Japan or something. I don't know. But I was like, this is going somewhere. And then this week it's completely flipped. And now I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Solo.
Okay. I'm sure there'll be another video package next week to hype up Tala.
Yeah, Taller will be back.
All right. So then we finally have that U.S. title open challenge with Sami Zayn, and it's answered by, drumroll, Javon Evans. Drumroll, please, Javon Evans. That failed. Anyways, Sami Zayn. You had a drum roll. All right. Wow. Moving on. So let's dissect this match, so to speak. Sami Zayn hits Javon with steamboat-like arm drags. Sami hits Ric Flair chops. Javon comes back with multiple bouncy attacks, and then we go to break. Javon hits a top rope. It hits a dive off the top rope, counters a Blue Thunder into another bouncy attack. Javon hits a very impressive top rope Hurricane Rana. Sami finally comes back with a T-bone suplex in the corner, but misses a Helluva kick. Javon hits a very, very nice springboard cutter. I mean, that was excellent. Good, smooth precision there. I mean, he gave Cody a run for his money. But then Javon misses a bouncy attack and eats a Helluva kick and a Blue Thunder bomb for the win. This is where I have my gripes, because just like that match with Rey Fenix, Javon was on offense like 80-90% of the match, and then Sami hits his two signature moves and wins the match. I wish it was back and forth just like the Carmelo match, because if this doesn't do it for me. This doesn't make Javon look that great. I mean, Javon looks flashy, but then just gets beat. That's all I thought. He couldn't withstand any. He didn't take an ass whooping and come back from it. No, he just hit his fancy moves, missed the move, ate a haluva kick and a blue thunder bomb and loses. What about you? How did you feel about this match?
Well, I feel a little bit different. I think that comparing it to the Rey Fenix match is a bit extreme because the Rey Fenix match, it really was like 90 to 95% Rey Fenix. This match, I feel like there was quite a bit more offense from Sammy, but the point of these matches obviously is to showcase the contender, the person going after the belt, not for them to win it. But yeah, I didn't feel like this was comparable to the Rey Fenix match necessarily. I think that there was quite a bit more from Sammy to kind of show what Javon was going up against. By the way, I had no clue who this guy was. Zero. When he came out, when they announced him, nothing. Had no clue who he was. But man, he put himself on the map for me here. He that chop that he did to Sammy in the corner was awesome. He can get some air. He jumps higher than like anybody I've ever seen. The Hurricane Rana from the top turnbuckle that got a near fall, it had the crowd on their feet. And it just turned out to be a pretty exciting match for me. It was much better than I anticipated. There were several near falls that had the crowd on the edge of their seats the whole time. And it's always good when the crowd gets into it, and they were very, very hot for this match. So yeah, I liked it. Thought it was good.
All right. So we follow this up with a pair of backstage segments. First, we have Chelsea Green and Alba Fire approach Nia Jax and ask her if she wants to join the Secret Service. She says no. But then Nia walks up and bumps into Stephanie Vaquer for a brief exchange. And this completes the trifecta. Stephanie has now bumped into all three members of the triple threat match. And, they just have another brief exchange. Not much to say. And then we have another segment with Kit Wilson, who I believe is from Pretty Deadly. Yeah, Kit Wilson tells Damian Priest he's toxic. And instead of getting thrown by Priest, Kit just turns around and runs and trips. I guess it was a bit of a comedy segment there. Whatever. But then Alistair shows up from behind and hits Damian with the black mass. And then wishes Damian a happy birthday. So, happy birthday, Damian Priest. You get kicked in the head for it.
Nice.
Any thoughts on these two segments, or were they just nothing segments to you?
I thought it was kind of cool because Alistair Black was in the background. Did you catch that?
I did.
Whenever Damian Priest first walked up, he was like way back there standing, and then the camera panned, and then when it panned back, he was gone, and then it panned again. I thought he was going to keep...
You think that was intentional?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was just a production error or not.
I thought it was intentional. Honestly, I thought that they were going to do the thing where, like, every time the camera pans, he was going to be a little bit closer. You know what I'm saying? Like the old horror movie trick.
Yeah.
But, no, he was there, and then he disappeared, and then he all of a sudden showed up. But, yeah, I thought it was intentional, and I liked it.
Looking for me, Damien? And then he gives him the black mask.
Well, he did that, and then he, like, stepped back a couple of feet because he knew he was too close, and he would have really kicked his head off. I caught that, too.
All right. We have the main event. We have a triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship, where also the winner will face Stephanie Vaquer for the Crown Jewel Championship. We have Nia Jax, Jade Cargill, and Tiffany Stratton. So Nia starts the match off dominant. Tiffany drop kicks both girls, and then we go to break. We come back, and they fight outside. Back in the ring, Jade hits an interesting pump handle slam drop move onto Tiffany. Jade locks in a submission hold onto Tiffany, who counters and escapes. And then Jade eats a middle rope leg drop from Nia. Tiffany hits a swanton on Nia. That would have been funny if it was the other way around, but yeah. Tiffany hits a swanton on Nia. Jade immediately hits Tiffany with a super kick when Tiffany recovers. Double suplex to Nia. And then we got the prettiest moonsault onto Nia that Jade breaks up. After a series of counters, Jade hits Jaded on Tiffany, but it's broken up by Jax. These two fight outside. Jade clears the announce table, which Cole says he's getting too old for this. Jade gets thrown into the steps by Nia, which it looked like that. That must have been the spot that busted Jade wide open.
It was,
Jade
yeah.
had a very nasty looking cut on her forehead after that, right on her eyebrow. Eventually, they make their way back into the ring, and then Jade hits a boss man slam onto Nia, which Cole calls the Eye of the Storm. Screw that shit. It's the boss man. It's forever the boss man slam. Whoever hits it. But then we have a very interesting ending. I mean, I don't want to use the B word this soon, but it was a pretty botched ending. First of all, Jade pins Nia after the boss man slam. Tiffany is late to break up the pinfall, so Nia just kicks out. But Tiffany still hits Jade with a drop kick and then pins Nia. And then there's supposed to be a 1, 2, and 3, but the ref stops. But Nia never kicked out. And there's some clear arguing going on with Nia yelling at the ref. And then Tiffany just hits a prettiest moonsault ever for the win. Up until the end, I thought this was a pretty decent match. A lot of action, but man, that ending, that it really did hurt the match. So we end the show with a face-off between Stephanie Vicaire and Tiffany Stratton, which is now going to be the match at Crown Jewel. As I told you earlier, I'm pretty sure that that video package did spoil it. So, before you give your, I'll actually give your thoughts, because I have something to add after you give your thoughts. So go ahead. What do you think of this main event?
Well, I'm going to rip this one real quick, because I called this hard last week after the SmackDown review. I said, oh, all right, wow, so more botches down the road. This match was full of them. I know you said there was a botch at the end. There were multiple. Tiffany botched a suicide dive after the commercial break. She didn't even come close to hitting Nia on the outside. I also put, why does Nia got to be so fucking slow moving around? Like, I know she's big, but if she put some speed in her arsenal, she would actually seem threatening. I think of people, like Bronson Reed. He's a big guy. He moves around quick. He shouldn't move like that. Kevin Owens. The Viking Raiders. Look at them, what they do. Why can't she do that? I mean, she's so slow. It's painful to watch. When she bounces off the ropes, like when she's running the ropes, she's not running. She's not even jogging. She's like barely taking a few steps, and I don't know. That bothers me. But the double suplex to Nia was awesome from the top turnbuckle. And, the spot where Nia throws Jade into the stairs, I'm not sure whose fault that was. I don't know if Jade slipped and maybe she hit her own head, or Nia really pushed her really hard. I mean, Nia gets a lot of flack for hurting people, but I don't think that she really pushed her hard enough to cause this. I think there was some, there was just some things going on. I don't know what happened, but it was bad. It was a mess. That was a bad cut. And Vic, I don't know if you saw the fallout from that, if you saw the pictures after the fact. That cut was deep.
I did.
You could see her skull. It was so bad. She'll have a badass scar, so I mean that's a plus.
She looked really mad about it too.
She was really mad about it. I mean, she was fired up. And then Nia botched the pinfall by not kicking out. I think Nia was expecting them to go home because Jade was hurt, and which that's what I thought initially. But then 10 seconds later, after Tiffany hit the prettiest moonsault ever, they covered. They called it. So I don't know. It was just a mess, dude. But if you take out all of those botches, if you take out the getting their head busted on the stairs, this was a pretty solid match. It really was. It was one of the better matches I've seen lately out of the SmackDown main event of the women, for sure.
I thought you were going to tear apart this match. I guess we're on the same side.
Well, I ripped into it a little bit because it was a botch fest, and there were more negatives than positives. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty solid match. It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you remember last week, we had an impromptu Slick Vic's picks for this match, where I looked into the old fortune crystal ball over there, and who wouldn't you know it? Who won the match, huh?
what? You did say that wasn't an official Slick Vic's picks call, so you don't get to add it to your overall average.
No.
I would have totally allowed that. I would have totally allowed it.
Okay, well, we'll see. I was gonna save the official picks only for PLEs or Saturday night's main events.
That's true. Yeah, when the picks, so impromptu picks don't count.
Okay. Well, that concludes SmackDown, Mr. Mosley. Would you like to take us through Monday Night Raw?
Sure. Take us through Monday Night Raw. I'm going to take you on a ride, Vic.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 style?
Right after I crack open this beverage.
Libation?
Libation.
Some more libations?
Yeah, they're okay. All right, are you ready, Slick Vic?
I'm as ready as I'm going to be.
All right. So Monday Night Raw, September 29th, Raleigh, North Carolina, at the Lenovo Center. I helped pay for that center, apparently.
Me too.
The show opens with Rhea Ripley. She's coming down to the ring and cutting a promo on the Kabuki Warriors, and she challenges them to a fight. Io comes out instead, says Rhea was right about Asuka and Kairi, but they are her family and she still loves them. Aw. The Kabukis appear on the Titantron, and Asuka cuts a promo half in English and half in Japanese with subtitles, thank God.
Yes, we got subtitles. How long have we been clamoring for it?
You asked for them last week. You were like, they should put subtitles on this. We got them. Asuka says Io can still be with them, but for Rhea, it's too late. The Kabuki Warriors attack Rhea from behind in the ring. Io runs back in the ring to save the day, gets blasted with the poison mist from Asuka. The Kabukis beat down Rhea to end the segment. I thought it was a pretty solid segment. I love the subtitles for Asuka's part of her promo, and her face paint and contacts make her look like some kind of weird badass demon from Evil Dead or something. It's been sort of a long road with this feud already, but I'm actually excited to see this match when it finally happens. Your thoughts, Vic?
I'm going to echo your sentiments there too. First of all, it's Monday Night Mommy to start the show, and we got the subtitles, which got a huge pop out of me, and so I can that was great. And I believe it's not the only subtitles we're going to get this night. And yeah, I mean there was a very emotional Io Sky saying Rhea was right, but she still loves them. So this was pretty good. I mean, I thought it was pretty good.
Pretty good. We go straight into
but I didn't.
We go straight into a match. This one for the Intercontinental Championship. Finally, we're getting Dominic Mysterio taking on Rusev. Rusev's been chasing him around for the last couple of weeks. Finally gets to get his hands on him here. So, the match. Dom gets a little offense in, but it's quickly stopped by Rusev, who hits Dom with several hard suplexes, then heaves him across the announce desk on the outside. We go to a commercial break. Out of the break, Dom makes a comeback, but barely gets a 1 count from a pin attempt. Dom goes for a 619, but is caught by Rusev with a big clothesline. Rusev goes after Dom on the outside, but gets pushed into the steps, hitting his midsection. Dom finally hits a 619, but misses the follow-up frog splash. Rusev lands a Machka kick, but only gets a 2 count. That was crazy. Dom slips out of the accolade and starts to head out with his title belts, but gets tossed in the ring. Dom then tries the old Eddie Guerrero trick, falling down and tossing the title to Rusev, but the ref is too smart, doesn't fall for it. Dom sneaks in a kick to Rusev's crown jewels and follows up with a roll-up pin for the win. I'm legit surprised that Dom found a way to beat Rusev here without any outside interference. I don't know why I'm surprised, but I was surprised by it. I thought for sure that Dom would get crushed here, but he slithers away with the title intact. I'm interested to see where he goes from here, though. I don't think Rusev is done chasing the IC title yet, and Dom's days with it may be numbered after this one. Your thoughts, Vic?
I thought this was a great match. Well, the match itself is not an action-packed slobber knocker. I felt this match was booked pretty much how it should have been, where Dom had to just find ways to avoid Rusev from crushing him. First of all, I don't know if you caught the beginning. Rusev is from just Bulgaria. It's like no city, no town. It's like from Bulgaria. Anyways, I like the trash talking from Rusev, how he kept calling Dom boy. And it's funny, Dom's getting baby face reactions from the crowd. And he's even working like a baby face with doing a lot of high flying, crowd pleasing moves. And it's funny, you mentioned this earlier when I got really nervous when Rusev hit the Machka kick because I thought, oh shit, that's it. And I was really surprised he kicked out. And a great ending with Dom doing the Eddie Guerrero fake, getting hit by the belt, and then but the ref not falling for it. And then Dom was able to sneak in a mule kick, which Joe Test called into Rusev's man parts to get the pin. So yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this match. If I have one criticism, it's that maybe Dom should work more like a heel and do less crowd-pleasing offense. Because Dom's still a heel, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed this immensely.
Cool. So you said you got nervous there. I'm assuming that you did not want to see the title change hands.
No. I want Dom to hold on to the belt for a while.
I wanted to see Rusev take it.
When was the last time Dom? He had the match with AJ Styles, but I feel like Dom doesn't really defend the belt as much as he should.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'd like to see Dom in more higher profile feuds instead of just these one-off matches.
Yeah. Okay. Good deal. Then we got a backstage segment. LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Telling Adam Pearce he wants a world title shot. New Day shows up telling Pearce they want a tag team title shot. Kofi Kingston and LA Knight exchange words, which leads to a match being made between the two later on. Get another backstage segment with Happy Bailey. By the way, this is what I call her. It's either Happy Bailey or Mad Bailey or Rage Bailey. This was Happy Bailey. Wants Lyra to come out to the ring with her again this week. Lyra tells her she can't give her any more second chances and that she's on her own. And that leads directly into a match, Bailey versus Raquel Rodriguez. So Bailey gets off some offense early, but Raquel dominates much of the rest of the match. Bailey rallies toward the end, but gets caught trying to hit a running Hurricane Rana from the apron and gets slung into the barricade by Raquel. I thought this was a good spot that Raquel should have hit a power bomb here. She shouldn't have did, because what she did just looked sloppy, like she catches Bailey. She could have easily powerbombed her, but instead she just catches her, stops for a minute, then starts swinging her around like Cesaro and throws her into the barricade. Bailey hits a great elbow drop to Raquel's back and follows up with a mediocre swanton bomb for a 2 count. There's a very obvious botch where Raquel tries to front suplex Bailey on the ropes, and Bailey was supposed to reverse it into a neck breaker, but Raquel just drops Bailey on her ass. But they recovered it, and she hit the neck breaker anyway. Roxanne Perez gets involved. She rakes Bailey's eyes while the ref's back's turned. This leads to a big boot and a Tejana bomb from Raquel for the win. Roxanne then gets in the ring and starts to beat down Bailey, but Lyra comes out and tries to take out Roxanne and Raquel, but gets taken down herself. Then Rage Bailey shows up, cleans house, then turns back into Happy Bailey, who picks up Lyra and gives her some high fives. My initial thought was Bailey would blame Lyra not being there for her as the reason why she lost, but I got swerved. That didn't happen. I'm kind of glad Raquel won and took the W here because, she's been working hard every week and she deserves a good win over a veteran like Bailey here. So, props to her. Vic?
Well, first I want to say I thought it was hilarious when the New Day interrupted Knight and Pierce and talk about how, Woods called Penta Pierce's little mercenary. Knight is very charismatic and hilarious. The New Day are just hilarious. Great back and forth stuff. I had a lot of fun with that. Knight's like, what are you talking about? I had people telling me I was the best referee of all time. Anyways, there was a nice video package with Seth and Cody where they labeled it as part 1.
Yeah.
You know, I've always put over these WWE video packages. The hype of matches are always really good. But as for the match between Bayley and Raquel, I wasn't really feeling this one, man. It just didn't do anything for me. Bayley, I don't know, she didn't look good here. I like that she did the Hardy Boys taunt, but her twist of fate on the outside looked bad. Her swanton was not that good either. And her figure 4 leg lock, it was not like cinched in all the way. Like, I don't know about you, but I grew up with my friends in backyards and recess just doing sharpshooters, Boston crabs, and figure 4s on each other. And I don't know, man. I feel like, okay, Bayley should I'm sure she's cinched in figure 4 leg locks perfectly in the past, but what she did here to Raquel was like, what are you doing? You don't have the moving all the way.
Yeah. Maybe she hasn't.
I was screaming at my TV when she did that. Also, when Raquel reversed it, the ref didn't check on Bayley. She just kept on to Raquel. I was like, don't you know how this works? You know, you're supposed to check on the other person. So the match didn't do anything for me. But here, the story is here about Bayley's multiple personalities, her unhinged behavior. So I was legit wondering what she was going to do to Lyra after Lyra made the save, whether or not she was going to, Rage Bayley was going to attack Lyra, or she's going to turn back into Happy Bayley and give her hugs and kisses and whatnot. But yeah, we'll see where this goes.
All right. Do we get a backstage segment? The Usos are talking. Jimmy asked Jay why he didn't help him in LA Knight last week. Jay says helping LA Knight gets them nowhere and asks why Jimmy helped him. They argue for a bit, and Jay says Jimmy doesn't get it because he's never been world champ. Then he kind of apologizes and, whatever, they make up. Another backstage segment sees Kairi Sane trying to tell a very blue Io to apologize to Asuka. Io yells at her and tells her to leave her alone. Kairi leaves a picture of her, Asuka, and Io in Io's hand as she walks away. Thoughts on these segments, Vic?
Well, the Uso segment, I thought there was some pretty good tension there. Jay is still kind of coming off as a heel at times, but he did a good job of calming down and acting like everything's okay and we're cool, Us.
Yeah. And
they moved on. And then Kairi telling Io that they can still be a family and she just needs to apologize to Asuka. And then Kairi putting the photo onto Io's lap and the camera zooming into it, man, that was absolute cinema. I like that bit a lot, actually. I actually thought it was good storytelling there.
Here's a question for you, Vic, before we move on. Have you watched Akira yet?
Man, I should have told you this off air. No, I haven't done it. Here's the thing. I have a copy. It's been busy. Plus, Tabitha, my wife, wants to watch this with me, so I've been kind of holding off. And in my free times, I've been playing Metal Gear Solid. So.
Well, I can't blame you for that.
So yeah,
I've taken a break.
I'll definitely catch Akira soon. I promise. I will definitely give my review in full before the end of October.
Okay, before the end of the year, then. Okay. But no, I don't blame you. I played Metal Gear Solid extensively. I beat it probably 5 or 6 times. I'm working on a playthrough of extreme difficulty, but I've not beat that one yet. But I got the stealth camo, and we're segueing a little bit here, but yeah, can't blame you for that.
Quick question about Akira.
Yeah.
Do you watch it in English or do you watch it in subs?
English.
Yes. Okay.
You can watch it I've watched it in subs too. The first time I watched it was subbed. Now, some people are weird about that kind of thing. They think, it has to be, you have to watch it in Japanese with the English subtitles to really kind of, I don't know, see it for what it really is. But they do a really good job with the dubbed English version to where it's, okay. It's whatever. Watch it dubbed.
Okay. Okay. Will do.
It's good. Anyway, we got, let's see, match. LA Knight versus Kofi Kingston.
Yeah!
Lots of back and forth throughout this match. There's a nice suplex counter into a neck breaker spot I liked really well by Knight. It was actually a counter into a counter into a counter. There were several counters there, but it was really cool. The two fight outside the ring with Kofi getting the better heading into a commercial break. Back in the ring, Kofi is working on Knight while Xavier Woods mocks Knight's "yeah" chant on the outside. Kofi gets knocked loopy somehow as Knight keeps pouring on the offense. Kofi goes for Trouble in Paradise, but Knight dodges and flips Kofi over into a BFT for the win. Thought it was a decent match. Pretty much every LA Knight match is good as far as I'm concerned at this point. He's one of my top guys. Not sure what happened to Kofi there towards the end, though. I tried to rewind it and figure out what knocked him loopy. I don't think he was just selling there for no reason. I think something actually happened to him, but I couldn't figure it out. Like the match. Vic, your thoughts?
I like Wade Barrett mourning Grayson Waller / Big G's neck. Hilarious. And there was this one moment where Woods is shuffling away when Knight approaches him, which I thought was funny too.
Where he's trying to get him on the outside. He keeps turning around to go for him.
Yeah, it's like he's like, Woods is bad mouthing him, and then Knight finally confronts him, and Woods just like shuffles away.
Yep,
it's good stuff. I'm really glad LA Knight got the clean win here, but I don't know. I think the match was kind of just run of the mill for me. It was, I hate to say it, but it was kind of filler. And I like Knight. I like Knight a lot. And I'm really glad he won. I'm really glad he's getting mic time because this is where he shines the best. So, but overall, just okay. I wasn't upset or it wasn't bad or anything. But yeah,
run of the mill.
Yeah,
we like it. So next we got a couple of segments. One of them is actually a few segments, as far as I've got right here. So I'm gonna run through them all, and then we'll get your thoughts, Vic. Backstage segment. This has got Becky Lynch, Maxine Dupree, and Akira Tozawa are walking backstage. Becky Lynch shows up. She basically tells Maxine that she's a loser, and goes on with the rant where everybody knows that Becky is the best women's wrestler. Maxine says everybody knows except for AJ Lee, and Akira Tozawa laughs at this. Becky knocks him on his ass and then lays the SmackDown on Maxine. Then Becky walks over to Seth Rollins, who's standing nearby, asks if she wants him to go out there with him. I botched that. Becky wants to know if Seth wants her to go out to the ring with him for his promo, whatever he's about to do. And he says no, he's got to do it on his own, and he's got this. So that leads directly into an in-ring segment where we get Seth Rollins out in the ring. He lets the crowd chant for way too long. And then he says, basically, and I'm summarizing here because it was a very lengthy segment, Rollins says whoever wins at Crown Jewel between him and Cody will shape the next 10 to 20 years of the industry. Cody comes out saying the future isn't decided by them, but by the fans. Cheap pop. Rollins says they were never friends, and at WrestleMania 40, he was just the lesser of two evils. Thoughts? This entire thing went on way too long. Every single part of it was like watching paint dry. If they had shaved off about 5 minutes here, it would have been a solid promo to promote their Crown Jewel match, but I just couldn't get over how much it dragged on. And, Vic, I think that's really what killed it for me. I mean, otherwise, this was solid. This was a really solid promo by both guys, and they're diving back into their history, and they're bringing everybody up to speed, and it's really good that they're doing that. And they're kind of answering some unanswered questions, with Rollins helping Cody at WrestleMania. They go back and touch on that. But damn, this just went on so long. After this, we get a backstage segment where Rhea Ripley is asking, again, a very blue Io Sky if she can trust her. Io says she can never go back with Asuka and Kairi now. Your thoughts, Vic?
All right. Well, going back to Becky and Maxine Dupree and Akira Tozawa, if this was a match to build towards Becky and Maxine, which we do find out at the end of the night it was terrible. It just made both Akira and Maxine look like chumps.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
it was not good.
With him laughing, he goes,
Yeah. That was no good. I'm with you on the Seth Rollins promo and Cody. It was just long, and I wasn't. I'm going to talk about this too when we talk to Stephanie Vicaire and Tiffany Stratton. There's no. It's just bragging rights here. Really, they're not fighting over anything important. They're not fighting to. I mean, there's a little bit more history between these. Actually, there's a lot more history. There's no history with Stephanie and Tiffany, but with Seth and Cody, there's multiple years of history. But I don't know. I'm just kind of like, all right, we're gonna fight over a meaningless title. We're gonna get there and
devalue one of the top championships in the process. Because that's all I see this as being, really. I mean,
So I wasn't feeling that. And then finally, Rhea checks in on Blue Sky. Blue Io Sky.
Blue Skies.
And then, like you said, they did set up. They did make the tag match there, so we do have that for Crown Jewel. Now, are they purposely amping up like a romantic tension between the two of them? Do you feel, or is this just television?
You're talking about between Rhea and Io?
Yeah, I mean the internet. I mean, I know the internet would love to see that kind of stuff, but I'm like, they're really making them very forward with each other.
Are you sure this isn't what Slick Vic wants to see out of the? I never got that. I never picked up on that. No.
Okay. It just felt like there's a lot of touchy-feely stuff going around between these two girls.
Okay.
And it's I'm like, I mean, are they doing this on purpose? Is this like bait? That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm not complaining. I'm
just
kind of like, okay.
I never picked up on that myself. I didn't get that indication, but okay. I might have to take a closer look.
Maybe I'm just spending too much time on Reddit. I don't know.
Maybe.
Reddit wants that kind of shit to happen all the time in all sorts of media.
Yeah,
so
you're probably the one that made the thread on Reddit. Is there some sexual tension going on here between Io and? Yeah. Got pictures, screenshots,
timelines, and events.
Yeah, yeah.
I dissected this. I studied it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a tag match, and I think it'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, be a banger.
Yeah.
Speaking of matches, that's the end of the segments for now, at least. We go to a match of AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus Los Americanos. And Los Americanos get names here, and I don't know if I got this right. I know one of them was Bravo, and one of them was Rayo or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like they should have pronounced it as Rio, but they ended up calling it Rayo.
Rayo, yeah, I spelled it Rallo, like the Spanish way that you would spell Rayo.
Okay,
so I don't.
I'm sure it was like Rio.
Rio. Did they actually have it on screen?
I don't think so, but I can go back and check it later. But
it doesn't matter.
Like Rio.
We'll find out.
Rio and Bravo.
Yeah, we'll find out that it's not that important. I don't think.
No, it's not. It's Tyler Bate.
Yeah, Tyler Bate. So, not sure if Dragon has done this face paint and contacts look before, but we get a great shot of it before the match while Lee promotes the upcoming AAA title match with Dom. Does he always look like this, Vic? Does he always do his face paint like this? Because he looked badass with like the scales and stuff and the dragon contacts and all that.
I'm not sure. I honestly haven't paid attention that much.
It looked really cool here anyway. The Americanos get their own names here as well, I noted. Tandem offense on Dragon Lee from the start and through the break. Styles finally tags in after the break and takes it to both Americanos. AJ goes for the phenomenal forearm, but gets pushed off the ropes by Grande with the ref's back turned. This doesn't slow down AJ, though, as he powers back up. He takes out Grande. He takes out Grande inside the ring, hits the second forearm attempt, and nails the Styles Clash on one of the Americanos for the win. So I'm summarizing that quite a bit because it wasn't really that memorable of a match. I mean, like I said before, any match that AJ's in is great, but this was just kind of dumb. I think it's dumb that they gave the Americanos names and then they hardly ever specified which was which throughout the match. They just kept calling them the Americanos. And I couldn't keep up, to be quite honest, Vic. I just couldn't keep up with it. The match was too short, and with the baby faces going over, it just seems overall unimportant. About you?
Well, I'm gonna make this conversation weird for a second because I'm gonna quote. Did you hear Wade Barrett, who's talking about the El Grande Americano asexually reproduced, thus forming Los Americanos?
Yeah.
Which this is a big moment, man. I mean, I don't know why you downplay the debut of Los Americanos in the WWE. These guys are legends in lucha libre.
Yeah, okay. If you say so.
Anyways, okay, so we had the double stomp in the corner thing again, which you know how much I detest.
Yeah, I skipped right over that one.
You know how the New Day is making it part of their gimmick to get the Mexican Destroyer banned?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want that double stomp stricken from anyone's moveset because it's a dumb freaking move. It looks stupid. And I don't even think it doesn't even look that devastating. And in this case, it missed, but they sold it. I'm confused. It was a really bad looking. It was a botched double stomp from the corner. Yeah. Anyways, this was a nothing match. It was just to have AJ and Dragon Lee on TV before their respective big matches because we got Dragon Lee versus Dominic Mysterio for the AAA Mega Championship. And AJ Styles versus John Cena at Crown Jewels. This is just a way to get them on TV and showcase them, really, because it was a really short match, and it was a nothing match. Moving along.
You know, while you were explaining that, I just thought of maybe a better way that they could do the stomp.
Yeah.
Why don't, you know how you can, you remember how Shawn Michaels used to, lay across the top ropes in the corner?
Mm-hmm.
He used to throw his legs up on one side, and then he'd stretch across why can't you just stick them in the middle rope like that, just stack them in there and then climb up and then stomp them so they're not holding themselves?
Right.
Would that not make more sense?
Yes. That's too logical, man. I don't know why you think of that.
Exactly. I don't know. Maybe I should be a producer or something. Anyway, we get a backstage segment. Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton exchange words about their upcoming Crown Jewel Championship match. Stratton reminds Vaquer that she has been on top well over 200 days, and that Vaquer will have to get used to coming in second. Vaquer tells her that her time is up. And that's pretty much it. Then we have
Hold on. There were subtitles for Stephanie's promo there. Did you catch that?
I did not catch that. I know you said earlier there were going to be subtitles, and I was sitting there I don't have notes on subtitles for the rest of the show. Yeah, I didn't get it. What did she say?
It might have just been one line where she said, I don't remember what she said now, but she did say something in Spanish, and there was subtitle in the screen, and I was like, all right, we got a lot of we're getting some subtitles for our non-English speaking wrestlers we love.
Yeah, too bad Andrade didn't get any subtitles.
He didn't even get any mic time.
He got the pink slips, what he got. On to the main event. We got a tornado tag match. God, I was not looking forward to this. It seems like I always get stuck with these crazy matches that's just all over the place, and I can't keep up with them. But I'm going to try to give you the rundown as best I can. This is the Usos versus the Brawns. The Usos get some tandem offense on the Brawns early in the match. They go for a splash to the outside on Breaker, but are pulled out of the ring by Reed, giving the Brawns the upper hand for a second. Reed clears the announce table and gets on it with Jimmy, but Jimmy kicks Reed off the announce table. Then Breaker hits a flying clothesline out of nowhere to Jimmy through the table. And Jimmy's down for a while. So, with Jimmy out, Jay takes a beating in the ring from the Bronze. He keeps trying to come back, but to no avail. Eventually, Jimmy finally gets back into the ring and evens the odds, but he gets back in to even the odds, but he gets a jagged edge from Reed for his trouble, followed by a spear from Breaker to Jay. The Bronze stack the Usos in the middle of the ring, and Roman Reigns' music hits. Roman heads to the ring with a chair and cleans house. The Usos hit a double splash to Breaker in the ring for the win. After the match, Roman wears out Breaker with the chair. Then the show ends with Roman giving a pep talk to Jay about smashing everyone as Jimmy looks on, shaking his head. End of show. So, again, with these main events, this was actually a pretty good match. It had some pretty good high spots. I loved the clothesline from Breaker through the table, and it gave some meaning to Jimmy being out. It was a little bit easier to keep up with than matches of this type, I feel like, because, it was usually 2-on-1. So, and then you had a reason for the other guy being out. But more often than not, I feel like these matches are just so hard to follow. But we get the Roman Reigns at the end, which was a running theme for a while there, and seems to have come back. We get the, where are they going with this? I don't know. Is Roman trying to return to the throne as the tribal chief? Where do we go? And where does Jimmy fit into all this? And I don't know. It's a good continuation of this little storyline, and it'll be interesting to see what happens next. But as of right now, I'm just along for the ride. What say you, Slick Vic?
I thought the match itself was just kind of meh. A lot of the same stuff we've seen before. I mean, the flying clothesline from Breaker to Jimmy through the table was great, but I didn't pop for the Steiner dog like I normally do. And I think I'm just getting sick and tired of these matches. They're just kind of run of the mill. But Roman coming back was a huge surprise, and that pop, my God, he blew the roof off. I like the interaction he had with Jay, where Roman was all like, "It's all about you. You don't need anybody else." And Jay says, he'll smash them all, and Jimmy looking in the background, disappointed. That part was good.
Yeah,
that part was really good. But overall, I was kind of like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done. Let's just move on.
It's enough. So it's enough wrestling for the week. Done with it. Well, that was Monday Night Raw, September 29th, and that's the whole effing show, as Rob Van Dam used to say.
Yeah.
Decent Raw, decent SmackDown. Nothing great, nothing to write home about, but some decent moments from both, I feel like. So what do you say, Vic? Shall we do a little horror movie talk for all of the horror fans out there?
Yeah. Shall we digress from wrestling for a bit?
Well, we've talked all the wrestling that we can, I believe. That's it for the wrestling on this week's episode. It's October. Slick Vic and I, we are very big Halloween fans, very big horror movie fans, and anything spooky we tend to love. And we talked about it off air a little bit, and this week we may do it again, we may not do it again, so who knows? But we're going to give you guys some of our top horror movies, top 3. We narrowed it down to 3, actually, that you can watch this October. I've got this thing, Vic, and I know that I talked to you about it before, that I've not really been doing it this year, but I have been trying. I try to do it in previous years. It just, I'm kind of busy now, busier than I have been. But I like to watch a different horror movie every day for the month of October, leading up to Halloween. And I try to find
31 Days of Horror. Yeah,
exactly. And I try to find ones that I haven't seen before, if I can. If not, whatever. I still got some classics in the old bank that I can pull out. But I'm curious to know if you were to, and I'm going to answer this same question for all of our listeners out there, horror fans. If you were to give someone 3 movies to watch during the month of October, because I know everybody out there is busy watching Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, so you only got so much time. If you were to only give them 3 movies, Vic, to watch, what would those movies be and why?
Well, I can tell you I'm just going to go by my 3 favorites, so to speak. 2 of them are etched in stone. Like these are 1A, 1B are my 2 favorite horror films of all time. The first one is Halloween 1978. You want to watch a movie that takes place on Halloween and is also a scary movie, go check that one out. Fantastic. With John Carpenter's Halloween from 1978. Also, Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, starring Jack Nicholson. Fantastic movie. Now, if you're a Stephen King fan, I mean, you've read the book, you may or may not like it because it deviates greatly from the book. But as a standalone movie, fantastic. It's got a lot of tension. It's got great performances. It's haunting as all hell. And then number 3, that's tough because number 3 changes like the wind. I was thinking about this earlier today, and I wanted to put a modern movie because I gave a 70s movie and I gave an 80s movie. I want to give a little more modern movie. So I'm going to go with Sinister from 2012. Go check out Sinister starring, oh God, what's his name? It's going to kill me right now. Ethan Hawke. Yeah, Sinister. That's a good one. With the villain. I'm not spoiling anything when I tell you that the villain goes by Bagul. Have you ever seen Sinister, Mr. Mosley?
Yeah, I have. And I didn't think that it was that old. 2012, you said?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. 2012.
Sinister.
Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, that was a really good movie.
Well, I'd love to hear your top 3.
Solid choices, Vic, and you gave some good thought into that, where you had the different eras, and you had a new one, you had something old, something new, something borrowed, and all that good stuff. I didn't give it that much thought. Right off the top, man, I'm going to have to pick, first of all, from Friday the 13th series. I know there's a lot of Friday the 13th movies. There were 9 entries, well, 10. I kind of think of them differently, though. I think of the first 8, and then I think of 9, and then 10, and then Freddy vs. Jason. There's so many of them to choose from, the remake. But I got to give a shout-out to my boy Roy in Friday the 13th, Part 5. This was a great Friday the 13th movie. Part 4 was originally, if I'm not mistaken, supposed to be the end of the series. That was supposed to be the last Friday the 13th movie, the final chapter. In Part 4,
it's got final chapter in the subtitle,
and they still kept it all these years later. It's still called that for some reason. But Part 5 is a direct continuation, and you get to see the kid from Part 4 that hacks Jason up at the end of it. You get to see him grown up a little bit, and he's went to like a mental institution or whatever, and he's going through some troubles, and all of a sudden these killings start happening again. What's really cool about this movie is that it goes back to like the first and second Friday the 13th, where the killer is in first person, so you don't really see the kills happen from a third person perspective or a fourth person, whatever perspective. You don't actually see Jason until the end of the movie. And then come to find out, spoiler alert, it's not Jason at all. It's this guy named Roy, who happens to be the ambulance driver for, he's the dad of this kid that's at a halfway house who gets hacked up at the beginning of the movie, and when he gets called there to pick up his, the kid who's all chopped up, he goes crazy, and he gets the mask. But the mask has like blue marks on it instead of red. It's really interesting. Yes. It's really cool how they did this movie. And I think, if I'm not mistaken too, Vic, that this has the most kills of any Jason movie.
I don't know about that.
I think
it might be.
It has some of the best. I know that. Most kills in any Jason movie. Let's Okay.
While you look that up, can I quickly give some thoughts about Friday the 13th Part 5?
Sure.
Because I think I enjoy this movie immensely. Maybe, but the first time I saw it, yeah, I was really disappointed with the ending because it's not Jason.
Yeah.
But I got over it, and I watched it with a more open mind, and I'm like, this is a really fun entry in the series, and it's also the most sleaziest entry in the series. And I don't just mean that because there's a lot of nudity. It's just. Well, actually, no. It probably did have the most amount of nudity, but it's just, it's very grindhousey. It's very grimy, very low brow, and it's fun. There's the girl who's like robot dancing before she gets killed.
Yeah.
There's the people in the outhouse singing to each other before they get killed.
Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. He's like, them goddamn enchiladas. He runs out there, he's shitting himself.
Yeah. Exactly. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
And this whole movie is all because of a chocolate bar.
Of a chocolate bar, yep.
Roy's son offers the guy with the axe in the very beginning of the movie, who's clearly mentally unstable, offers him a chocolate bar, says no, and Roy's kid just just elbowing him to take the chocolate bar. And what does he get for his trouble? He gets an axe to the back.
Yeah, he says, what's the guy's name? His name's Vic. The guy with the axe, his name's Vic. He's like, fine, Vic, but I think you're really out of line. And then Vic chops him up.
Yeah.
So I was wrong about the kill count. Actually, Slick Vic, the number one kill count for the Friday the 13th series goes to Jason Goes to Hell. Part 9, the worst movie in the series. That
is my least favorite. Yeah.
It had 25 kills, and that, you guys, if you're listening, you can totally skip over that one. It was awful. Jason wasn't even really in it.
Garbage.
Number 2 goes to Freddy vs. Jason with 25 kills. Number 3 goes to Jason X with 21 kills. Fun. Number 4 is Friday the 13th: A New Beginning with 19 kills. So I guess for the original saga, not counting Jason Goes to Hell because it's awful. Yeah.
Yeah, of the movies with Friday the 13th, those first 8.
Yeah, the first
part
8.
5.
Yep.
The first 8, part 5 is the most kills.
Yep. So,
okay.
Good one. Anyway.
Roy killed more people than Jason.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess Vic gets one of those kills, doesn't he?
I guess so.
That has to count. That has to count.
Does Roy's death also count as
I would think so. It doesn't break it down that much, but yeah, probably. He had a pretty good Mortal Kombat-esque fall to the spikes.
He did. He fell into the pit.
So that's one of mine. I'm not going to say that's my number one, but that's one of mine, and that's just one of my near and dear Friday the 13th movies. And I've went back and forth on it a lot because, like you said, it's not Jason, but man, it's just such a good Jason movie, without Jason. Second, I would have to say Pumpkinhead. I don't remember what year it came out. Pumpkinhead was a movie that, and I read into it a little while back, was actually completed, and it was produced, it was made, it was done, it was promoted, and then something happened, and they had to postpone the movie for an entire year. So when it finally came out in theaters, not a lot of people went to watch it because not a lot of people were pumped about it by this point because they didn't care. It was promoted, and then something happened and they had to postpone it. But this is a great horror movie. It's a movie about a guy whose kid gets killed by these out-of-town teenagers, maybe kids in their early 20s or something like that. They come to this very rural part of wherever, USA, and there's an accident that happens, and one of them runs over a little boy with a motorcycle. The guy who is the dad of the little boy, who's Lance Henriksen, who's the main, he plays the main character. goes to this. He takes his boy, who's dead. He takes his body to this old witch out in a swamp somewhere named Haggis, and she's like, "I can't raise the dead, but I can. You get revenge for you." And so, long story short, she does some witchy stuff and raises up the demon Pumpkinhead, who's the demon of vengeance, and basically Pumpkinhead goes after whoever was at fault for this boy's death. And in the meantime, we find out that the main character is slowly switching places with Pumpkinhead. He's slowly becoming Pumpkinhead. Every time Pumpkinhead kills somebody, he can see it in first person, the guy who conjured him. And it's a really good, the monster looks great. It's just a really good movie. The rest of the series is ass, too. There's 2, 3, 3 and 4 aren't bad. 2 was not good. But really, the main meat and potatoes is that first ever Pumpkinhead movie. You ever seen Pumpkinhead, Slick Vic?
It's been a while, but I have seen it. I do remember Lance and his, was it his son? He dies, and then, yeah, just like you mentioned, he can't get his son resurrected, but like a vengeful spirit, something comes and kills, he gets revenge for him. And I remember Lance, because I like Lance. He's kind of horror movie royalty, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I definitely need to revisit this movie. It's been a while. I'm looking at it right now, and it's directed by Stan Winston, who did the special effects for the Terminator movies. So I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
I'm sure the special effects were amazing. It's been a while.
They're really cool. And I will tell you this though, Vic, there is one botch during this movie. It's kind of hilarious. But there's a scene, it's within the last 5 or 6 minutes of the movie, but it's like they're trying to kill Pumpkinhead and they're outside of this barn or whatever. And the monster picks this kid up by his leg. He like has him by his leg and he raises him up in the air, and the camera kind of pans from his leg, the monster's leg, up to his head. For that brief second that the camera is on his legs, you can see that he's wearing sneakers. He doesn't have like the Pumpkinhead shoes on. He's wearing regular sneakers.
That's funny.
It's awesome. Yeah, there's a little tidbit for you. And then, my number 3, I had to sit and think about this, really, because there's so many that I would like to mention. But my number 3, in terms of, if it's a movie that I'm recommending people go see, especially during this time of year, would have to be Night of the Living Dead, 1990.
Oh, okay.
Yes, not the original, the 1990 version.
That's in the news right now.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Tell me about it, and I will tell you the news. Because I have not seen this movie.
You've not seen Night of the Living Dead in 1990?
No. I've seen the 1968 one, but I have not seen the 1990.
So the 1968 one, you have the black and white. There's also a color version of that one. This one was also directed by George Romero. So it wasn't...
No, it's Tom Savini.
Tom Savini directed it?
Yeah.
Well, George
Romero was still involved, though. Yeah.
Did he produce it, or did he write it, or something? He
wrote it, and he did produce it.
Okay.
Yes.
So Tom Savini, the makeup artist, directed it. Okay,
Sorry,
good.
I didn't mean to correct you there.
No, I don't get. I just know that Romero was still involved some way. Basically, to say this wasn't something that somebody took and just completely did their own version of. Like, he was still involved.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I don't know what it is about it, man. It's just so creepy to watch this movie. They get stuck in a house, and the zombie apocalypse is starting up, and I don't know if they ever really find out what caused it or anything like that, but they're basically held up in this house with these random people, and it's just like a, overnight fight for survival type thing. One of the main characters ends up becoming a zombie, and it's really creepy, and I don't know. Romero always did the best zombie movies because he is the zombie guy. So that's one that's just always stuck with me. And if nobody has saw it, I suggest you go out and see it.
Like me, because I have not seen this movie, but I definitely want to see it. The reason I bring up that this is in the news because they just released, this was it was September 30th, last Friday. this past Friday they just released a unrated director's cut of this movie.
Really? What?
Yeah. Yeah, look it up. It's there's a steelbook, a 4K steelbook, which is already sold out like in various places. It's had a very look, I'm sure you're looking it up right now.
You gotta be kidding me.
You can probably find it on the secondhand market, but if you look up Night of the Living Dead 1990 4K steelbook,
I see it here. Well, this is Tom Savini's Night of the Living Dead 1990 gets an uncut 4K release in September. Wow, this is dope. Lip surgeon. Yeah. Tony Todd, that was the guy that was the main character that turned into the zombie, the Candyman.
Yeah, Candyman, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you buy that, you get both the unrated cut and the theatrical cut.
I own this movie on Vudu, but it's just, I guess, the theatrical version. Here is the Blu-ray. September 23rd, 2025 is when this was released. Wow, that is a really cool looking cover art for that. But yeah, steelbook. Add to collection, add to wish list. Buy now. Used from $129.98 on Amazon.
Yeah, from what I've heard, they released a very small number of the physical copies of this, and they sold out immediately. And now they're going for crazy money on the secondhand market.
$130. Yeah, this looks awesome. 35th anniversary includes uncensored version of the film, first time ever. Wow.
Are you pumped? Are you hyped? You got to get your hands on this?
No, I'm not hyped because I'm not spending $130 on this, but hopefully they release it on digital and I'll rebuy it. Yeah, sure. That would be awesome.
Yeah, same here.
Wow, I wish I had known this a week ago. I already spent all my money on a Goro statue with the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, Collector's Legacy Edition, whatever it's called. I showed you that, didn't I?
Well, yeah, you did.
Yeah, the Goro thing.
Comes with the controller holder.
Yeah, it's a controller holder. It's like a statue. Yeah, that's why I already spent my money on that thing. So, but yeah, that's really cool. Wow.
Yeah. Now I'm really hyped. Now I got to see this movie because I don't hear a lot of people ever talk about this movie.
I loved it.
You put it over very strong.
I loved it, man. And you know, I know the original is a cult classic and well, just a classic in general. You know, for horror fans, the original is sort of like the Holy Grail in a way, but. Man, that 1991, it just hits different. It just got the whole atmosphere and the whole mood and just, I don't know, man. You need to watch it and tell me what you think. You're up to, there's 2 movies you owe me now, Slick Vic. Night of the Living Dead, 1990, and Akira.
All right. I will get on that. I will get on that for sure.
Well, you know what that means, Vic. We've heard the bell. We've heard the gong. It's time to end the show. Good show this week. Love talking about wrestling and horror movies and all that good stuff. And next week, for everyone out there listening, is the return of Slick Vic's picks. We're going to have Slick Vic's picks for Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia. And I'm going to hold off on the music for now because you're going to have to tune in next week to get the music. But yeah, we got Slick Vic's picks next week. Is the card finalized?
I don't believe so. I mean, I don't know how many matches are official.
Well, we know 3 at least.
I mean, I do know that. Yeah, Crown Jewel in Perth.
So we got men's Crown Jewel Championship, Cody versus Seth. Women's, Stephanie versus Tiffany. AJ and John Cena. The Kabuki Warriors versus Io and Rhea. Oh, United States Championship. Oh, that's a prediction. This is on CBSSports.com. U.S. Championship, Sami Zayn versus Solo. So that's a predicted match that might happen. But so far, 1, 2, 3, 4 matches. So yeah, assuming they're going to have at least a couple more added within the next week or so.
Yep.
Should be a good show.
I think there'll be at least one more because there's been pretty much a 5-match card for most of these events. So
it was 6 up until WrestlePalooza. Well, it was 6 from I know from SummerSlam because that's when we kind of started doing the picks, and then up to WrestlePalooza had 5. They got to have more than 4. I mean, they got to. So maybe they only announce 4 or 5, and then Sami Zayn comes out with his open challenge at Crown Jewel, and Solo answers the call. Maybe, I don't know.
Possibility.
I don't want to see Solo win that title back though. I want it to be somebody unexpected.
Same.
But we'll find out next week when we take a look into the crystal ball once again for Slick Vic's picks. Anything else you want to add, Slick Vic?
Not at the moment. No, I don't have anything else to add. I just want to wish everybody the best in their future endeavors.
As always, and make sure everybody is on board with everything that we got going on here. We've got it on Facebook.com/WrestlingWithPower. That's where we make our posts and where you can comment and engage with us. Tell us what you think. We also, over on the YouTube channels, been posting since episode 7 over on YouTube. YouTube.com/@WrestlingWithPower podcast, and the OG since day 1-ish over on Spotify. Find us on there. We've got every episode on Spotify, and we'll continue to put every episode on Spotify. And with that, I wish to let everyone know that stay powerful.
Happy October.